Welcome back to the weekly edit. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Okay, now today I want to talk about something that I see all the time. And if I'm honest, it is something that I have lived myself. You tell me that you're overwhelmed. I see this with all my clients as well. You don't have time, you don't have space, you don't have the capacity. And when I look at your life, I understand why. Because your life is full. It's not just busy, it is full. Full of needs, full of responsibilities, full of people depending on you. And especially as a child with autism, it can feel like there's always something. Something to manage, something to anticipate, something to fix, something to hold together. So, of course, you're going to feel overwhelmed. But I want to offer you something today that might feel freeing. And that is the thought that you're not overwhelmed, you're over responsible. So, what does this mean? You've taken on responsibility not just for what is yours, but for everything. Everyone's emotions, everyone's experiences, everyone's outcomes or results. You're managing the environment, you're managing your child, you're managing your partner, you're managing the future. And somewhere in all of that, you've started managing life itself. And it is as if it's your job to make sure that everything goes right. And I get why. Because when you're raising a child with additional needs, it often feels like you don't just manage everything. If you don't, everything just falls apart or might fall apart. So your brain goes, we've got to stay on top of it. We've got to think ahead. We've got to control what we can. We can't drop the ball. And then slowly, without you realizing, you become the one holding everything together. But at what cost? When you're over responsible, you are never off duty. Even when you sit down, you're thinking. Even when things are calm, you're waiting for something. Even when nothing happens, you're like this little squirrel who's twitching and ready to go. And that is what creates this feeling of overwhelm. It's not what you're doing, it's what you're carrying. Because responsibility isn't just practical, it's emotional and mental, it's energetic. And right now, you are carrying more that is actually yours to carry. So, let me give you an example. Say, for example, your kiddo's dysregulated, and immediately your body responds, am I safe? And then your mind starts scanning, and it says, what could have caused this? How do I fix this? How do I stop this from happening again? What does this even mean? And before you realize it, you've taken on full responsibility for the moment, not just supporting your child, but owning the entire experience. Now imagine a different scenario. Your kiddo's dysregulated, and instead of going, oh, I need to fix this, you shift or pick another thought that says, I am here to support this. Can you feel the difference? It's subtle, but it changes everything. One is heavy, one is grounded. One says, this is all on me. The other one says, I can show up without doing all of that. Now, this is the work. It's not about doing less, but because let's be honest, your life is your life. It's not about pretending things aren't demanding. It's about changing how you relate to responsibility. Because right now, you have blurred the lines between what's yours and what's not. Your responsibility is to care for yourself, to regulate your nervous system, to show up with intention, to lead your family. But it's not your responsibility to control every result, to prevent people being in discomfort, to manage every emotion that comes up, to make everything okay all the time. And now that might feel scary because your brain says, well, if I don't do that, who will? But when you're carrying everything, you actually reduce your capacity. You become exhausted and reactive and short and her. And then the very thing that you're trying to create, more calm, more stability, more connection, becomes harder to access. And that is why inner stability matters, because when your body feels safe, you don't need to grip so tightly. You don't need to control so much. You can be with what is happening without taking it all on. And from that place, you become incredibly powerful, not because you're doing more, but because you're doing it differently. You're no longer operating from pressure, you're operating from presence, from being present. And this is where your life starts to open up again. Because when you're not over responsible, you have space. You've got space to think, you've got space to breathe, you've got space to feel like yourself again. And this matters, not just for you, but for your whole family. Because your children don't need a parent who's holding everything together perfectly. They need a parent who is regulated and present and available. Okay, so here is what I want you to start noticing this week. Where are you taking on more than is yours? And where are you trying to control something that you actually can't? And where are you holding responsibility that is not serving you? And instead of judging it, just be curious, because it's not about doing this wrong. This is about seeing something that you've never seen before. And once you see it, you can start to move it, to shift it, one moment at a time. You're not overwhelmed, you're over responsible. And the moment you start releasing what's not yours, you don't just feel better, you become freer. All right, my friends, that's what I have for you today. Just a little side note, a PS. You all know that the doors are open to my new program, the Successful Autism Family Blueprint, and we start on the 2nd of April. So please let me know if you're interested. I will send you a link. You can email me or DM me. Also join the private Facebook group because there's a lot going on in there. And I'm also going live every day for the next, well, I'm going live tomorrow. I'll be going live on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I was live today and was live yesterday. So please come and join me and ask me all the questions. All right, everybody, have a fantastic week. Bye.